Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well. Thank you very much for tuning into today's episode. Of course, as usual, I very much appreciate it. I just thought I'd quickly plug, our LinkedIn. So if you're at all interested in some of the more business type stuff, business centric content, not even necessarily about fish tanks, just like in general, head over to our LinkedIn and give that a follow. Today I published an article rather, about more the contentions between like hourly pricing and like value add pricing, if that makes sense. So yeah, I think that's an interesting different little perspective. So yeah, but otherwise make sure to like and subscribe and follow on this video and all that. But yeah, let's get into the main topic for today's video, shall we? So for today, what we'll do is the thing that we actually haven't done for a while that we used to always do, and I think we'll do again, is I'll just walk around and show you guys the fish while I talk, because that'll be kind of fun. But of course, if you're listening on the podcast feed, I'm sorry you can't see anything, so sucks for you, loser. But yeah, let's look at some fish, talk about some videos, and have a party in the fish shop, because why not? So the thing I wanted to talk about today is kind of something that I guess has been asked of me a few times, both online and just people coming in the shop and talking about it. And I thought, if you guys want to listen, may as well. And that is how/why/where, do I come up with the ideas for the things I want to talk about in our videos. So obviously we publish a video every day. 6 days a week. We don't do it on Monday because I am busy on a Monday. But we publish a video 6 days a week. So the question I get asked is, that's a lot of videos. How do you not run out of things to say? And well, there's a few things I wanted to kind of get to and ways of approaching this question that I wanted to think of. So number one is, I always want to talk about what you guys want to talk about, or what kind of interests you, or what I think will add value to you. So that's kind of the main criteria, is what is going to add to your guys' fish keeping experience, life experience, hobbies, businesses, all this kind of thing. How are we going to add value? So what I do is talk to people. So that's the easiest one I can think of. So obviously we have a retail shop here in Auckland, and what happens is obviously we get customers come into the retail shop, and the customers always asking questions, of course. And what I do is, if anyone asks a question about something, or if I notice like a few people asking questions in a similar vein that I think is interesting or gonna add value, or would I have maybe a different way of thinking about these questions, I always make a note of it. So I've got a little file in my phone that I can look up, where it's got all the information about like ideas for questions, or ideas for topics, or that kind of thing. So if anyone brings something up in the shop, I always chuck it in my notes, and then I'll add that to the list. The other things is kind of just, I guess I take inspiration from a lot of my general life. So in talking to people, just in day-to-day life, like my friends, family, all that. Watching videos, watching podcasts, like consuming other people's media. If I see something and I think, yep, I like what they have to say, or I don't like what they have to say, or maybe I have a different way of thinking about the same thing, that's something that I'm going to want to create a video on, because I always want to get my perspective out there, let you guys know what I think, ways in which I would approach a question, all this kind of thing. So I kind of just am always thinking about life and aquariums and whatever, and I'm always like, right, that's a good idea. I reckon I could talk about this side of things, or like, yeah, people talk about that, but that doesn't apply to New Zealand, or things like that. I always am trying to add that kind of value to people. This is going to sound like a joke, and I mean, I promise you, well, it is kind of a joke, but it's not. But I always think of ideas in the shower. I don't know why, I don't know how. So whenever I go to have a shower, I'll take my phone with me and put it, just with my new clothes and whatever. And literally, I'll get in the shower, start washing my hair or whatever, and I'll just think of video ideas. I'll just think of topics. And what I'll do is I'm like, yeah, that's an idea. That's a related point that would be a separate idea. Oh, that's a different way of thinking about something, like whatever, like that. And I'll come up with I'll get a whole bunch of ideas basically. And then what I'll do is I'll just jump out the shower and write them all down on my phone. Like, I'll just enter them into the same file, and I'll put all my notes together, and I'll be like, yep. This is an interesting way of thinking about it. This is an interesting topic for people. But yeah, I guess the general idea or reasoning is just it comes from my life and my interactions. So you'll notice, for example, I don't talk about things to do with like Blackwater aquariums or discus or aquascaping all too much. Like, I do a bit, but not too much. And the main reason for that is because I don't really have that much interaction with that kind of space. I can talk about it, I know about it, like, enough, all this kind of thing, but it's not really my thing, you know. That's not really what I'm thinking about on a day-to-day basis, just because it doesn't interest me. And if you're into discus or whatever, you know, if you like them, that's the most important thing. Just not my personal thing. So you notice I make a lot of content around African cichlids, and that's basically because I think about them a lot. I make a lot of content around more meta questions around fish keeping, is the way I describe it. So like the way we do things, industry type topics, the way we think about certain things, like that kind of stuff I think a lot about, just because I guess that's the way I think. So whatever is on my mind at that moment or on that day is often something I'll think, yeah, that could be a good video idea. I almost make these videos almost a way of me documenting my life or my mind. Like, I can look back through all my videos, I'm like, yeah, I remember that video. That day I made a video about this specific fish because, you know, I was just thinking how cool they are, or I was making a video about this way of things we do things in the industry, because I had a few customers that day who'd had issues with this particular type of product or particular type of food or something like that. So that's kind of, I guess, the way I come up with my video ideas. But I always do like to hear from you guys, and so sometimes what happens is, like, someone will come in the shop, they come to buy a plant or whatever, and they're like, oh yeah, I love your videos, but I was thinking, have you seen this person's videos and the way they do that? What's your perspective on their methods, or how do you think that would translate to the New Zealand environment or something like that? And it's like, oh yeah, well, I'll write that down in my notes and I'll make a video about it for you, and then we can see what you think of my thoughts. So it is kind of almost like a conversation. That's kind of how I treat it. I treat it as a bit of a conversation. It does go back and forth a lot. Like, I think people give their perspectives, and then I give my perspectives, and then I give my ideas, they give their ideas, and it goes back and forth, and then that, even if it's not the same idea, will spark something else. And sometimes things will come up and it's like, yeah, that's not a very good video idea, but maybe that'll be a good LinkedIn post, or maybe that's something I can start like hinting at on Facebook posts, for example, the idea, but it's not really something that suits a video. So the way we present specific ideas does vary a lot, but yeah, that's kind of, I guess, the way I come up with my ideas. Is so like, I've got my list of video ideas, and I don't know how many there is, but there's heaps. Some of them I'll never make a video on. Some of them I look at and I'm like, yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. That's going to be the world's most boring video. I don't really want to talk about it. Like, I want to avoid it, but like, yeah, that doesn't really interest me. Oh yeah, that was a topical thing in the moment's past, so I'll delete a lot of video ideas as well before I make videos out of them, just because they might not be the most suitable video for what we're trying to do. Obviously, there's only so many hours in a day. I can only do so many videos, and sometimes they suck. But I guess that's kind of how I come up with my ideas. But of course, if you guys have anything you want me to talk about, just drop it down below. I'll add it to the list. But yeah, I thought that might be something a bit interesting for you guys. If you're working in the aquarium space as well, I've had a couple people ask, but always, if I talk about something, I'd love for you to steal my video ideas. If you can't think of video ideas and you just want to make a video about whatever I talk about, go to town. There's no copyright stuff gonna happen. Like, the more people talking, the better. Like, if you've got perspectives on what I have to say, please share them, make a video, make an article, make a podcast, whatever. Whether you're in New Zealand or, international, I'd love to hear it. Send me the video, I'll watch the video, listen to the podcast, whatever, because I think the more people talking, the better. We can reach more non-aquarium folk and really get the message out there that fish tanks are cool, because I will tell you what, fish tanks are cool. But yeah, hopefully that provides some value to you guys, is a bit interesting or a bit of a unique perspective. But yeah, other than that, thank you guys very much for watching. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe and all that good stuff. I love you guys all so much. I'm so grateful that I can do what I do. But yeah, that's about it from me, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.